Hello, welcome to Maz Make Stuff. Here we are at the Queen Marchesa box I was working on in a previous video you may have watched or may not. If you didn't, that's okay. You didn't really miss much. The basic concept was taking art that was supplied to me by my customer and converting it into something that I could add to a 3D printed deck box that we sell in our store. After getting feedback from the customer, I have now been informed they would like it a little bit differently. They actually didn't want the exact perspective. So in the art, it's kind of a side view. It's not really a front on, and that's what they requested. So instead of like starting a new file or anything, because I don't really need to, I'm just going to go back on my timeline down here and go before I started creating stuff. So we'll just delete that and we start back at the beginning. And now, since this image that I have, the canvas, is basically just a reference, I don't really need it laying exactly over the top of my work. I can just move it over to the side to have it as my reference. So I need to put the crown on the lid in an orientation that would be symmetrical, essentially. So to start with that, I'm going to create a sketch on top of my deck box here. And go ahead and find my, just make a center line in here, because I'm going to just mirror it, because that would be about the simplest thing to do. And so I have my little line there that I'm going to use as my center point. Now, so I'm going to start with the band of the crown, because that's going to be sort of the main part. The spikes are something that I would add later. So now I'm going to use an ellipse for this. So an ellipse, of course, you got to define your center point, which this was the center point of my box. And if you just like snap to that point and then drag down, which I'm going to turn off my bodies so that way it stops attaching to the bodies, and then now I can keep that line there is what I wanted. So click for your search center point, move over, click again, and then now I have an ellipse. So, and this is going to be my band now. Let's see, so for the band, maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna Control C, Control V to paste and move it up, so that way I have the same here. And then we'll use the line tool, which, I mean, this is kind of like just illustration is what I'm doing basically. And we'll go from this line here, and then we'll do this one over here. Okay, so that is essentially this part here. What I'm gonna do now. I need the part that wraps around. Well, I don't need it, but I think it should probably be there. I'm actually gonna use the trim tool to clean this up, because I don't think I really need those parts at the moment, and it would be easier to work with. So just trimming off that, and I think I'm actually gonna use this line up here, so I'll just leave that. And we're going to do, how about we use the arc tool, and then we'll mirror the arc, because I want a curve that's gonna come back this way. I might not use it, but at the moment I'm just trying to draw the band here. So something around there I think would be okay. And then of course I'll mirror that. I should probably just do that now. So in the mirror tool and sketch, and I'll just copy that line over. Okay. So now what I need is the spikes, which on here, so I need the main middle one is what I need, and then there's 2 spikes on the side. So there's gonna be a total of 5 spikes. Since the center one's the main point, focal point of this whole piece, I'll just start with that first. And I think what I'm going to actually do is copy this one side over here So kind of like I did in the other video. And I think I'm going to actually follow this curve all the way down to here. And then I'm going to actually use this line as my mirror. So we're going to copy that, paste it, move it over, and yeah, so kind of line that up. And we'll make it so this, oops, goes up to the top. It's not gonna let me. Sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can't. You're probably not supposed to. Just click and drag on points. You're supposed to use the move tool, at least that's a better practice. Okay, so move these around. And try to still capture the likeness of the crown. I mean, because it's got to be recognizable, because that's essentially what the customer asked for. So yeah, something around there, although to me it looks like I would want the bottom of this point, that's the center point, to actually come down past. So I'm just going to move that whole section so it's slightly past the band. And keeping in mind this center line I have here, because I'm going to mirror this to make it symmetrical, because that's what we're doing. So I need to just make sure that this end is over there. So yeah, we have the curve comes in, might be a little bit too drastic here, so I'll kind of take that down to match a little better. And let's see here, maybe take this one up. Getting closer, I think. I think that's pretty close. I think overall this curve here could be farther down. Yeah, I think comparing this spline here, profile, to this over here, I think that's pretty close. So of course I'm going to mirror that, which I'll just go ahead and do now so I can help visualize what I'm creating here. It'll be easier. I'm a very visual person, so it does help. First thing I'm noticing is I could definitely have my band shorter and wider. So we're gonna edit that a little bit. See, so I'm probably gonna need to get rid of some of these constraints here, because I don't really need to edit those later. So I'm just gonna get rid of these, which I'm just clicking on the constraint and pressing delete on the keyboard. That's how you can get rid of your constraints. And then that way now I should, yeah, I can move that down, but I want to make sure that I'm moving it with the points. So move this, select that point and that point. Now move, which moves the whole thing. And, oh, because it's constrained up here. Okay, so we'll delete that constraint first. Now, it should let me go down. But I need to make sure I'm getting these points too. Yeah, I think that's a little bit closer. We're constrained someplace else though. Oh, I bet you, is it this? I think that might have been the last constraint there. There, that's what I was doing. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually want these as well to keep it down. So, yes, come down, and I think that's a little bit better because it was too thick, I think. A little too thick. Yeah, so that's better. And then I think it should be maybe a little bit wider. Well, I don't know. Now that I moved it down, I don't really know that I need to make it wider. I could just draw these spikes in, which I kind of want to keep the same curve, so I'm gonna sort of copy this curve over here because I like it. I mean, it looks pretty good. And we'll just take this, and the reason I'm copying it is so that way, I don't know, I just like copying things instead of just moving them. Because then in case if I change something with my curve over here on this side and I don't like the outcome, then I just have to redraw that curve again. So it's easier just to move it, to copy and move it over. So this spike is going to be kind of around here, looks like. Sorta, kinda. Yeah, because I think I'm going to want to have a slight band on the outside, then spike, spike, big spike, and so forth. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I want to go for. And of course I think the spike should probably be a little bit bigger on that curve still, so I'm going to use sketch scale and make that a little bit bigger yet. Because it's kind of just, yeah, it's like just above. If we're matching this little height here with the height of the middle spike here, it's about that. So that's what I'm going to go for there. And I'm going to finish that spike off kind of there, and then we'll move this back over a little. Yeah, make sure you don't have it to snap, because I don't necessarily want it to snap at the moment. So yeah, that's a little bit better on the spike. Oh, the bottom overall should probably be lower, since it technically passes the band on the art. So we'll move past the band slightly. Yeah, about yay. It's pretty good. I mean, just something that's gonna be recognizable. And let's see, so we need the other spike, which I'm actually just going to copy this. So we're gonna copy it, paste it, move it over, and then I'm gonna actually use a sketch scale on this. And well, scale it from here. Oops. I'm using this. Gotta remember to change it to point before you select your point. Okay. And this spike is so it goes gradually at an up here, so it's kind of pretty close to this hump a little bit on that, so I can kind of go up. That might be too much. Maybe around there. I think that looks pretty good. We'll go with that. Alright, so I got my two spikes. I got my main spike, and I have my band, which this all looks like pretty good so far. The thing I'm noticing is that the spikes are going to end up covering what I was going to use as my illusion for the band itself, like the going behind part. So I think I'm going to move that over. Maybe like that, and then probably take this down so it's a little bit less. Although I'm gonna want it, you know, honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to keep it now. Although I feel like it should be there. I mean, it's the illusion that it's going behind it. So I probably want to keep it. Escape. I'm gonna delete that, because I'm gonna make a different arc for that curve. Delete that. We're gonna use the arc tool, 3-point arc, and stop lagging out. Okay. And over here, and probably about there. That looks a little bit better. It's not as dramatic. And then just repeat the arc again, and like about that, and then we'll move that so it's in a slightly more believable spot. Yeah, something like that. I think that's okay. So now the gem. Should put the gem in, which is just around the circle because of the way we're doing it. So gem, circle, sketch, circle, center point. Yeah, because then that way I can just line it up with this line here. Come down, it going? About here? And we'll just, you know, move it later. That's probably good. And then reference again. I think that looks like a pretty recognizable size there. The height. Yeah, I think if it was from a front perspective, that would probably be good. On the other sketch, I made a fitting for the gem, so because it's going to print separately. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So that's sketch offset, which is also O on the keyboard. And we're going to do 0.4 because that's the margin I like. And then, let's see, so we need to copy our spikes over. So we're going to do sketch, mirror, and mirror these spikes over. Which I'm double clicking this line to copy it, to select it all. And then our line we made up here. Okay. Alright, so that's our mirror there, and I would say we should go ahead and subtract this out. Probably save. That would be a good idea. Definitely save. And I think this is looking actually a little bit more balanced than the last one, because I think the last one was kind of unbalanced a little bit. Like even after I rotated it, it still felt unbalanced. So we're going to use the extrude tool, that's E, and cut this out of the lid. All of it. The band. It's like a silhouette. We're cutting out the silhouette. Okay. And I like -1, so I'm doing a -12. No, we're doing a -1. Let's stop hitting all those keys. Alright. So, same problem that I had on the other one is I didn't eyeball that too good. So we're going to edit the sketch. Because, I mean, this little point here and then this part here, it's just too small. So let's go back, double click, edit the sketch. And I think I'm going to actually just move this maybe? Yeah, if I like move that over 2, and then I move this -2, the opposite direction, and then this, if I go up slightly to get back, there we go. The love of not having things constrained. Okay, this was -2, and this over here is 2. Okay. I think that's better. Oh, we gotta remember these up here. Why don't we move these back? Yeah, like right there. I think that's better, right? Yeah. I still have, no, my sketch is not closed. I moved it wrong. Let's try that move again then. How about there? Close profile? No. Alright, extend, I guess? There, that's probably what was wrong. And I probably need to do it over here. Well, no, that's like actually in a different position, so we'll have to redo this, so we'll delete it. And re-mirror this. So mirror, select, and it's over there. Okay, that's back in the right position, and yes, we have a separate profile. Alright. And I need to tell you what the new profiles are. So no, we don't want that, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. Yeah. Alright. I think that's a better silhouette. That's actually kind of cool. I am interested. Alright. So the next thing that I am going to do is offset this because I need the fitting, because it's going to be an insert that goes in. So I am going to create a new sketch here. I'm going to use that offset tool again, which is O. O. I'm going to do -4 because that's what I like. And then take that out. Extrude. Do -1 because that's what we went in at cut. Okay. So now I have that extra cut there. Yeah, which is good. So now I'm going to extrude out the crown that I made in the first sketch. So I'm going to extrude this. And we're going to do everything with the spikes, like last time. I keep saying like last time, like you watched the previous video. Aha! Alright, here and here. Here. Almost got it. So close. Did I get it all? No. This part. And that part. Alright, I think I see it all now. Alright. So we're gonna do 1 millimeter up of that. Yeah. Alright. And now we're going to extrude out the spikes. So I'll hide my bodies so I can reselect this here. So I was going to do that same extrude and give the extrusion an angle, so that way it kind of captures that sort of angled look of the crown spike. So we'll do from object, select top, go back to profile, go up, and let's just type in -5 maybe. Can I get that? Okay. How about 15? How about -25? No 25. How about 20? Ha. We will stick with 15. That works. Okay. And distance of 2 millimeters. Do I want that? No, not really. That's kind of a little bit much. Well, no. Yeah, I'll stick with 2. Alright, so 2 millimeters on that spike, and then I'll do the same exact thing for these other spikes here, and extrude them out. So I'll get all my profiles selected. And here. Alright, and turn the bodies back on. We're going to do a from object extrusion, select face, go back, and then pull these up. And I'll do 2, the same thing, and probably -15 again, hopefully. Yeah, can I get a -20? Yes, I can. Can I get a -25? I can. Oh, man. Should we go 30? Would that be good? Should I go -30? Let's try a -30. I think I'll stick with -30. That looks pretty good. Alright. So, my crown is almost done, except for I need to take my gem out. So, I'm going to hide bodies and extrude my gem, which I gotta make sure I get my fitting there that I made. And cut the hole out. Say okay. And then now I'm going to extrude what I'm going to use as the gem, which I'll do like a flat extrusion, and then I'll do another extrusion with an angle. So this one I'll do at 1. Say okay, and then just extrude from the face, go up, and then take it in. Yeah, I think I might want to go up just a little bit, maybe. Should I do that? No, maybe just 1 extra millimeter out. Yeah, because I don't want to be too terribly tall. That might look weird. Man, I feel like this one looks so much cooler than the last one. But that's my opinion. We'll see what the customer says. So we're going to do some extra curvature. Let's see. I think because of how small these are, I'm not going to do that draft I did in the other design. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I do, however, want to, before I try to use the chamfer tool, make sure to save. Because I could break it. Okay. And chamfer. Let's try 2. No, that wouldn't work. 0.5? maybe? No. I think it doesn't like this little curve over here. It's probably why it doesn't really want to go very far, if at all. So, can I do a fillet? Press pull? 0.5? I can. If you hold control, select the other side. And try 1. Yes. Should I go in a little more? Yeah. Can I do 2? I can do 2. Ooh, that's a little too far right here, though. Maybe not 2. Maybe 1.5. Yeah. I think that's probably okay. Well, no. I'll stick with 1 because I want to stick a fillet on this. Yeah. So it's slightly curved. It ends up a little more, I don't know. The print looks nicer if it has a slight edge on the curve for the top layer type thing. So we'll try a chamfer with this here, see if it'll work. It will. How about 1? Yes. Let's go ahead and click. While holding control, you can select these other edges, and hopefully it'll work. Nope, it probably doesn't like the smaller ones. So I'll unselect those. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do them separately. That's fine. So okay, and go ahead and do the same chamfer over here. And instead we'll try 0.5 maybe? I think 1 millimeter is what I tried on the other one. Yeah, so it didn't like that. Maybe 0.8. 0.8, I don't really like this edge here, so I'm gonna do like 0.6. And that's a little bit better. Okay. The other thing I probably want is to add a curve on this here to be closer to the curve that's kind of in the drawing, the art that we're referencing. And maybe I'll curve this edge there. Alright, maybe 0.5? 0.5. Should I do 0.8? Yeah, 0.8 seems pretty good. That looks good, right? Yeah. I think so. Alright. And man, I think that looks cooler. You know, should I add in the little cut marks here that are on the art here? There's 3 of them. Oh man, you know, I think I might have time to do that. So I think what I'm gonna do is to add the illusion of those cuts. Okay, better save. And we'll go back and edit the sketch of the crown, and I'll create, oh, what angle are these? Oh, well, they're like that kind of angle. Here, I'll do all of them, right? So that way they're at the same angle. Say okay, and then we'll copy these over. And put it over here. And that's actually pretty, it's like just above the curve, so I'm gonna want to move that up, like there. That should work. Yeah. And then I think with these lines, since I'm gonna do them as well, you know, I could do it as a split face. That's what I could do. So first we need to have this mirrored, so it's exactly the same on the other side. There we go. And because I'm going to use it as a split face, a splitting tool, I should probably use the trim tool to clean this up. There. Now it's cleaner, and it should work for using it as a split face. Alright, so stop sketch, and hopefully everything kind of still looks the same. Yeah. Alright, and I want to do these cuts before I did my fillet, so let's come back. And yeah, I think like right about here is okay. Because that was, yeah, that was that. Okay. So I am going to do a split face of this here, and this is my tool. Okay. And then I'm going to do it again. Split this face, use this line, okay, and then do another split face, and use this line here. Alright, and then I think what I'm going to do is just extrude these at separate levels. I mean, ideally I'd want to use like a draft, but that might be a little bit complicated with how much time I have left. So why don't I should hide my sketch, that way I can... So I'll do an extrude. I'll do this at like minus 0.5, right? And then do this at a... Okay, wait a minute. Are we going up or are we going down? We should go down. Because I need to keep in mind layer height. So I'm probably going to print this at a 0.2. So if I do that at 5, that wouldn't really work. So I actually want to do this at a point, minus 0.6, minus 0.65. We'll just go with that. Okay, and then this one I would want to extrude at a minus 0.4. And then do this one at a minus 0.2. Ah. Gotta be in the tool before it works. Minus 0.2. Alright. And then with these little faces here, we're just gonna hold shift and select them. And hopefully it'll let us get rid of them. Otherwise we'll try to do something else. Okay. Okay. Delete. Yay, it worked. Okay. So now that's like a little stair step. That'll, on the print, it'll mimic that same thing there. Step forward and see in our timeline. Nope. Yeah, I know, you probably don't know what your lines are. What didn't you like? Oh, you just didn't like the angle. And you don't have the thing selected. Okay. So, let's add these. Clear this out, because it's just going to keep giving us the error. And plus, we'll probably need to find a new fillet radius anyways. One that's going to work with these new cuts in here. Alright. And try 0.5? No? Try 0.1. No. So, let's see. What can we try? Yeah, we could do it this way. If we do like 1 on that, and then do a new fillet here, and then do like 0.6. And then on this one, do maybe 0.5. So just like vary it by a 1/10 or something. And then can we maybe try this at like a 0.4? No. It really doesn't like those lines. What if I select them? If I add them? No. So it doesn't like those. Unselect you. Okay. And 0.2? Forget. Can I go very far? No, I can't. So I can't get a very good fillet on this now that I've added those lines. I wonder if I add a curve to these here. Oh, there's like 2 lines there. Interesting. So if I just do a fillet on this. No. Alright, well, you know, I think these lines are probably more important than having a fillet there, so I'll just leave that. You can still add the fillet here. And I don't think it really takes away from it that much. So then stepping forward, that, and that, and that. Okay. Cool. And I think that's about it, other than I could dress it up, because of course, how would I send it to the customer? I would paint that and paint the gem. Oh, and you know I probably want to add a fillet to this right here. Yeah. Well, maybe not that much. Yeah, right about there. Alright. I would say that's the new one that I would send to the customer and see what the next feedback is. I think this one looks way cooler than the last one. You have to tell me what you think. Anyways, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll share something else with you later.